something interesting happened with our Vancouver Canucks the last 2 games. What the hell is going on?
So I'm going to say this once. I'm going to be really clear about it. I don't want anyone to say that I'm crazy or gaslight me or even argue me on this. But Elias Pettersson should be on the trading block now. We don't need. I personally believe that Bo Horvat and JT Miller are the 1-2 punch that we've been waiting for, and that Elias Pettersson should be immediately traded for Jack Eichel, and then Jack Eichel should be converted to a winger.
Don't forget, didn't Jake Virtanen score 2 goals without Elias Pettersson, like that albatross around his neck?
Oh my God, dude. I have been waiting for us to talk about the fucking Giles Corey crucible weight that is Elias Pettersson. God, this kid just comes in with he just insists upon himself, you know, and then JT Miller's just being a winger, being like, dude, you got to try harder. You're making me look bad. And then I don't know, he probably hurt his wrist playing Valorant or Fortnite.
No, you know who he reminds me of? William Nylander.
Oh God,
just not a complete player. That's his problem.
I don't know. All I know is, did William Nylander have 2 goals this weekend? I don't think he did.
No, if you play the Edmonton Oilers, you don't score goals against them if you're the Toronto Maple Leafs. I just completely asked backwards that. If you are the Edmonton Oilers, you don't score any goals against the Toronto Maple Leafs.
What was the meme that it's like, well, you can hope to contain Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, but God help you if you're playing against Jake Virtanen. It's like, I don't know, man. That happened. I think a lot of people are coming into the weekend thinking, or not at the weekend, but coming into the 2 Toronto games just being like, okay, should I even watch? We're gonna get blindsided, and then of course Elias Pettersson goes down, and we're like, oh fuck!
Just put the bullet in now, get it over with. What else is on Thursdays? Is Joey still on Thursdays? Is that what we're watching?
Give us something. But yeah, that happened, and then fucking Daryl Sutter's the head coach of Calgary now, and man, that was so sick.
It's like he never left.
I'll just be up the road in Viking in case anybody phones me from Edmonton or from Cowtown. I'll be ready to go.
By God, Mike Commodore, he's coming with Daryl Sutter. Just crazy ass shit going down the last week.
Yeah, Canucks. They enter Thursday's game, and you just assume that it's all over. Elias Pettersson isn't going to play because of some sort of nagging, lingering injuries that we hope to God isn't a concussion, because it's listed as upper body. My money is on cracked rib. If anybody take up my odds, I'll be house money. But of all guys, the T-shirt namesake himself, Niles Höglander gets promoted to the first line where he should be, and you see this new delightful combination of just speed and just energy and hardworking shifts. And Brock Besser, JT Miller, and Niles Höglander it's the lotto line of 2021. It's exciting, it's fast, it's hardworking. JT Miller gets that little bit of, I need a little more out of you. I need you to win faceoffs and be the first back checker in the zone. And he responds in kind and then some. It was a great turnaround. And now where do you put Elias Pettersson when he comes back?
Yeah, do you convert him to a winger and just put him with Bo?
But why don't you just put him in the bottom 6 and have him lift those guys up?
Very good. Very good. Yeah, I think there's, if anyone can milk Jay Beagle for the untapped potential that is laying there, it might be Elias Pettersson on his wing. Really.
I mean, you'll never know what kind of chemistry those guys have unless you do.
That's very true. Very true.
When you look at good teams with depth, and let's say you haven't paid attention to the Toronto Maple Leafs for a hot minute, and all of a sudden Nylander is on the third line, or Tavares is and they jumble it to put up that depth. I don't see anything wrong with slotting Elias Pettersson. Like if while he's gone, this top line continues to flourish.
Mhm.
Pluck him wherever suits you. If that gives the team depth and it makes you a better team a harder team to play against,
Yeah.
like go for it. Nobody's going to be like, well, he should be on the top line. This isn't 2016 when we're like, guys, Bo Horvat technically is the number 1 center here. Daniel and Henrik are the number 2.
Yeah, I mean, really at this point of the season, it's like we don't really know what to expect or kind of what to kind of fathom with what's going on and stuff. But yeah, I mean, you look all around the rest of this like North Division in terms of Calgary and Montreal making changes, and Toronto going in a mini slump, and Edmonton's kind of been slumping as well, and it's kind of turning into a crapshoot. But again, the games played thing is the thing that kills them. So like even if they're going on a run, it's like, yeah, but there's certain teams that have 5 games up on the Canucks in terms of they need to make up. So like the last last weekend of March, the Canucks actually have like a week off. It's their week off or whatever. And in that time, you're going to see, like by the end of March, you'll pretty much see like the majority of teams catching up with their games played with the Canucks. And then by that time, you're going to figure out if they have even a semblance or even a hope of a chance to make the playoffs. And by then, we'll get into the discourse of, okay, well, we gotta move fucking 40 goal scorer Tanner Pearson in Ryan's mind, and other UFAs.
If we can go back to last week, I feel like we had an argument where
let's not go back to last week. You made a fool of yourself in front of millions of people, and then you went on Twitter like an idiot trying to defend yourself, and people are like, the Kevin Malone chili thing, that was you. You spilled your chili, telling everyone how good Tanner Pearson is while trying to like slop the chili back into the fucking pot.
He's gonna be great. He's everything you need.
Tanner Pearson has 8 points, Ryan, in 27 games. Now let's take away the fact, okay, great, he's a great two-way player. That's fine. He's good. He's a third line winger. There's a tree. There's a giant tree.
So is Elias Pettersson.
Oh my God, dude. I can't believe you're the one that made this podcast. I can't believe you're the one. If I were to think anyone,
you should. It's people like Ryan who make podcasts.
Oh my! All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the funeral of one Ryan Schaff. It is solemn. He died the way he lived, being verbally assaulted by women completely out of his league.
First time they've won 2 games in a row since the old Ottawa slaughter, so that's a positive. They aren't completely embarrassed as we were recording this in the first period against Montreal. And they're playing.
Tyler Toffoli is just waiting.
He's lingering in the shadows like Geeta on Canucks Twitter. She's there, but nobody knows it till it matters most. And as it stands, Arash, you talk about the standings. The Montreal Canadiens are 4 points up on the Canucks, 5 games in hand, and they play the next 2 in town against.
So
Vancouver.
even if the Canucks win the next 2, it's like they have 5 games in hand.
Can we talk about the schedule for a second?
Sure.
I know you were complaining about these Monday night games, but Wednesday's game is at 8.
So we're doing the Pucks on Net post game show, which is the best post game show in town.
Yeah.
Immediately after the game, and I'm like, that's gonna be at 10:30. I'm gonna be going to bed at like 12:30.
No, that's gonna
be
in Montreal.
They don't care about Le Québécois. They know.
Yeah. If you're in Montreal, that's what 11 o'clock game starts.
What am I supposed to do with that?
That would be fun. No,
for who? Was there another event at Rogers Arena that pushed this game back?
There's a monster truck rally. It's a social
monster truck rally.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on or what the deal is or what's happening on Wednesday. The national game needs to start at 8:00, but that's too damn late.
Mm-hmm.
Now I know we have a handful, a lot of listeners in Alberta who regularly watch games that start at 8:00.
Mm-hmm.
We are delicate here on the West Coast, and we are a more simple-minded. We go to 9:30 is late for us. Let's not be real. Let's get real here, kids.
Let's get real. real good. No one, no one ever told me I was a bad guy, so I can't be bad. And all my actions are fine. And, you know who's a great player? Nicholas Lidstrom.
Nicholas Lidstrom is a really good player.
I made Nicholas Lidstrom. I created him.
There was a trend last year, like around the summer or in the fall, of just like people putting together highlight packages of Nick Lidstrom just defending, and you'd like, we're 11 years later, and just like, oh my god.
Can I tell you guys a funny, fucking hilarious thing I heard on 31 Thoughts that Elliot Friedman said in regards to Nicholas Lidstrom? But they were talking about not to steal this exact segment of the podcast, but they were talking about like favorite line names, like names for lines, like the Triple Crown line, etc., etc. And Elliot Friedman talked about how one of his favorite nicknames for a player was Ian White when he played in Detroit, where people would call Ian White the second best player on the Detroit Red Wings. And then Elliot asked, well, why would you guys call Ian White that? And he said, it's like, well, we had this habit of calling anyone that played with Nicholas Lidstrom the second best player on the Detroit Red Wings. And I'm like, that's great. That's so fucking funny.
And that's
but yeah, Mike Babcock, I made that joke. And,
you know,
it's a fun play joke.
You know who else is a good player, a good goalie? Thatcher Demko.
I don't know about that. Here's a list of everyone thinks you suck, Thatcher. Are you going to grow from this, or are you going to complain like a little bitch?
Here's a list of expansion exposed players in the expansion draft of Seattle. Nobody wants you. So
nobody wants you. Okay, I don't even want you. Actually, Thatcher, I'm your father. My back. I don't want you. Now, how are you going to respond? Because this is obviously a healthy mental motivational way to get people to do their best, is by essentially gaslighting them into oblivion.
Speaking of that, how's your recording looking, Arash?
It's fine. Why are you so worried about my recording?
Because I wanted to take an opportunity to give you the Mike Babcock treatment there. Thatcher Demko got his 2 big wins. Thank you. That's a thinker. Thatcher Demko gets his 2 big wins. Gets his GAA under 3, 287. Goals save percentage around 913. Depending on who you ask, those are Jacob Markstrom numbers, which is delightful to see. And he's stolen the net. And I'm very happy. And they are giving him the ball to run with it. And Braden Holtby, he's just going to be the hot guy, the sexy guy on the bench, and playing in the back-to-backs.
I don't think he stole the net. I just feel like this, like every other night it's somebody different. No one could get a rhythm going.
No. There's
been enough opportunities over the course of the season to be like, Demko should play the next night, but Travis Green would always go to Holtby.
I mean, he can come up with any excuse he wants, and he'll say it once in a Zoom call, and nobody will challenge him on it, and then we'll be on to the next question.
It's because he's got a job for life.
NWO for life. Yeah, there we go. And also you're paying Braden Holtby $4.3 million, so it's like, oh yeah, he can play back-to-backs and whatever. But to give Greener the credit, playing Holtby against the Jets and then keeping kind of Thatcher fresh for these string of games was, he hasn't faltered. He's done great.
No.
So he shut out the Jets and he beat the Maple Leafs twice. So, going forward, it's going to be Thatcher's net. And I think, that's the way we got to do it. Now, the scary thing is, if Thatcher continues to play the way he does, that 3-headed RFA monster of PD Hughes and now Thatcher is going to be the thing. So depending on where now I'm of the theory that I just don't see. I'm not sure if I see Pettersson and Hughes making like Marner Matthews money just yet. Like I just don't, especially in negotiations. Maybe Quinn, because he has the point totals, but like for Elias Pettersson, if he's doing
8 or 9,
average 66 points a season now, it's like, okay, yeah, but fucking Matthews scored 40 in his rookie season, so maybe 8 or 9, but if you're thinking 10 plus,
yeah, you come, we can't, you know, the fan base started coming up with those numbers
Mhm.
pre-pandemic,
Yeah.
pre-flat cap. No, this is not a Jim Benning Zoom conference. Don't worry about it, because that's all he said over and over again. But yeah, you look at what Marner and Matthews and all those guys, you know, the Jack Eichel money, where it's like, okay, I want 10 or 11 or 11 point this, or if you're Eric Carlson and you bamboozled Doug Wilson and the Sharks into giving you that.
Mhm.
But it's a
Mhm.
it's a different climate, and you know they're going to get paid. I mean, they are RFAs. This will probably go into arbitration, and these factors of the you know, the financial climate we're in a pandemic, and what how much money is going around is going to come in, and yeah, you're probably going to see them making definitely Pettersson. I would say definitely under $10 million.
Yeah, I think that's where it's going to probably land. I mean, you can make more of an argument for Quinn Hughes just because defensemen are defensemen, and if you have this kid who's coming in and putting, you know, gaudy point totals up and everything, but yeah, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, if Thatcher keeps playing the way that he is, you know, oof, if you think about the money that's coming off, and then the
Mhm.
money that's going to go directly to those RFAs, it's like, you know, yeah, you're when Jimbo came out and he said, "I just need 2 more years."
Oh, well, there's our
That was
segue.
a backbreaker of a fucking interview. And
So-
you know what? I just gotta say, a lot of people came out and they're like, "Well, you know, what did you want him to say, man?" And I'm like, have you ever had this experience with someone where for the longest time they've been someone that's not been completely honest with you, or at least they've tried to avoid things or not take responsibility or whatever.
Mhm.
And one day, this person drops all their walls and says, "Yeah, I have to take responsibility for this stuff, and also stuff that you didn't even realize, which was this." Um, your friendship or your relationship with this person might not survive based off of the previous things that happened. But going forward, the amount of respect that you retain for that person is probably going to be more than where you left off if they had just continued down the same path.
Mhm.
So the same people that have been coming out and saying that, "Oh, well, what did you want him to say?" I don't know. Kevin, did you see what Kevin Adams said in Buffalo? Kevin Adams literally just came out and said, "Yeah, not good enough. None of this is good enough.
Well,
Not acceptable. Not happy with it.
I can.
No, it falls
in,
onto me."
in like where in sports does anyone have 9 years to get it right?
9 years.
Like, who is he? Joel Quenneville as head coach? Like, Jesus
Yeah, what
Christ.
is this?
Like I'm gonna like really screw up the first 8, but in that 9 season, who has ever guaranteed like nearly a decade of managing a team where
Yeah.
they cannot where they cannot turn the ship around?
Farhan Lalji said something really interesting where I think he explained it really well, and he was getting just into a Twitter argument with someone,
Yeah.
just talking about like Jim Benning versus Mike Gillis or whatever, and essentially he just said that in every evaluation period on every exam, there's a time limit.
Mhm.
Like you like, yeah, some exams sure you can take as long as you like, but guess what?
It's still
Even
3
if they
hours.
even if they tell you can take as long as you like, the DMV closes at a certain time or the
Yeah.
school closes at a certain time. So you don't have all the time in the world to finish the goddamn test. There's a shelf life. And at some
Mhm.
point, after a while, you have to hand in what you have done. Like there's no
Mhm.
there's no extended, there's no yeah, you can go to Francesco, your teacher, and be like, "Hey, Professor Aquaman, can I please get a 2-year extension?" Well, I already gave you 7, Jim. I don't know. Seems like if it's not done by now, is it ever gonna get done? Like the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League, which is coming out later this month. But you guys know what I mean. It's just
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's
Like there, if
9
it
years.
wasn't Benning, there would be so much arrogance in that answer.
Yeah,
Oh
if
my
it were, yeah,
God.
absolutely. And sorry, but the other flip side is, and we keep bringing this up, if there were fans in the building today,
Oh, baby.
this would not be happening in
No.
terms of even having the goal to ask for 2 more years. this would not be happening. So we're in this weird, bizarre world where we're continuing down this path. And again, like I just want to bring it back to the point where it's like just exam time is done, and he has to hand in his homework, and the homework that he has handed in from the last 7 years, it's like oh, he got some answers really right. Oh, he did better than I expected on the trigonometry sections.
No,
But
I
the
saw
part
that.
where it's like, hey, what
Trigonometry.
does Macbeth mean? He put his credit card number. Like, I don't, you know, like, it's like that's literally it. That it's too. His tenure here for the last 7 years has been so peak, valley, light peak, and then, you know, on and on.
I think when they said tenure, he heard 10-year.
Oh, interesting, interesting.